Hello there, welcome. This is MechWarrior Bloodwolf coming out at you with my understanding of the current PTS. I'm not going to be talking about the PTS before the changes, and that's just this PTS and its implications to the game. Now, the energy draw system, from what I can understand it, is a new system that is being proposed to replace Ghost Heat. Now, a little context, Ghost Heat is simply just a way to penalize people for boating a weapon. Boating a weapon just means stacking that weapon onto your mech and then alpha firing. So before Ghost Heat came in, people could stack insane amount of weapons on their mechs, like medium lasers, 6 medium lasers, 2 large lasers, or not just 6, just 6 large lasers or 5 large lasers. You know, you just fire those. Yeah, they get really hot, but they'd still be in it. They can fire it, cool down, and fire again, no penalty. Then Ghost Heat was introduced, and it gave you penalties for stacking. Now, obviously, large lasers do more damage than small lasers, so it would only take maybe stacking 3 large lasers to incur a Ghost Heat penalty, or stacking like 6 over 6 mediums would incur you a penalty. Stacking over 6 smalls would also incur a penalty. Small pulls, medium pulls, etc., etc. Weapons had different thresholds for how much you could stack, like before you gain a penalty. Stacking 2 LRM-20s, firing them at the same time, incurs you a penalty. But one common thing about this system is that you're able to work around it. It was easy to work around it. You were able to, because it works in a I think in the interval of seconds, or maybe even milliseconds, to where the penalty only applies if you fire the weapons at the same time, or if you fire the weapons within a short fraction of time, meaning within 0.5 seconds. I think after that you fired them again, you would incur a Ghost Heat penalty, even if it was the same weapon, or you fired the weapons again, all 6, or if you fired, the maximum 6 again, you wouldn't incur a penalty. You just get the amount of heat for it. And this didn't really curtail boating in a sense. It didn't stop, high alpha, high damage builds. And when the clans came in, they only their weapons not only exemplify the problems. Then you had UAC weapons, right? And then you had clan weapons, which were harder, but they did more damage. So alphas on those things was even more dangerous. Like the Timberwolf, for example, 4 mediums, 4 mid pulse, 2 large pulse. Firing those doesn't stack a penalty. So there was a whole problem. People don't like to admit it, but this was a problem ever since. Like, this was a big problem. Some people don't like to admit it, but this was a big problem, and it wasn't really resolved. And it was people for a long time, and this is what I really don't like, people who are disingenuous to the players who proposed this energy draw system. This energy draw system was proposed probably by a few people before, like, hey, you should do energy draw system because you can kind of make sense of it. It's more, you can use it in a way to where it makes more sense than just Ghost Heat, right? Rather than just a magical penalty, right? You actually understand why you get the penalty, right? So now I guess I can lead that into energy draw. So a little demonstration would be, right now I'm running 2 large lasers, 2 small pulls, 4 med pulls, and a large pulse and a clan ultra 10, AC 10. Each of these weapons has an energy requirement. I don't know offhand what the energy requirements exactly are, but they all have a certain number of points they take away from your overall. And overall, you have 30 points. Now, if you fire your weapons in such a way where you exceed 30 points, you get a penalty. You get a heat penalty. The heat penalty, the amount of penalty you take depends on how many amount of points you go over. So if you go over a certain amount of points, like 6 points, you get a 6-point penalty. You go over 10 points, you get a 10-point penalty, etc., etc. This system is definitely more easier to understand. And not only that, you have visuals to show you. Now, to your left, you got a yellow bar. That represents your energy, and then you obviously got your heat. Nothing's changed too much, except for now you have one more bar to look out for. This bar refills pretty fast. Refills. I don't know the exact ones again. I don't know the exact numbers, but it refills after it's been used. So I'm gonna fire. You see the bar refills pretty fast. When I fire all my small pulse and small pulse, I incur a penalty because these numbers fired together go over the maximum number of available energy points I have. Now, it's just in testing right now, but assaults are going to have more energy points than heavies, and then the further down you go, the less energy you're going to have, which means I don't think we're going to be seeing 6 small pulse cheetahs anymore, because those things were pretty ridiculous. But anyway, so yeah, that's pretty easy to understand. Now, what I want to demonstrate is how it works with certain weapons. And so with this, and for people who ran mixed builds, this still affects you. It just doesn't affect you as much as people who ran pretty much only meta builds. You know, people run meta builds. You know how that starts. People run a certain build, it does a lot of damage, and then someone else sees like, hey, what's your build? It's this. I'm gonna use it now. And then a whole bunch of people just start using it, and then everybody starts using it because that deals the most amount of damage. Anyway, one thing that ruined in this game was probably time to kill. Now, when you're able to alpha and fire the most amount of weapons in the shortest amount of time you can on a single mech, even if it's 1-to-1, you take that mech down in in seconds. And I know it's been suggested that MechWarrior shouldn't feel that way, and it definitely shouldn't feel that way. What the new energy system does is when you're firing,
heat level critical.
You definitely cannot fire too fast. You have to decide, and if this mech was an active opponent, you would have to decide which weapons you're going to fire. You gotta decide when you're gonna fire them, and you're gonna have to choose which is the most. I guess it's really beefy, but which is the most important time to fire that weapon. For instance, I may want to just use my UAC 10s and med pulse.
Target destroyed.
I may be at a different situation and use my large lasers. But what I can do, and energy draw is it's pretty much similar to Ghost Heat, right? What it does is it just restricts everything. So instead of boating a certain weapon, you can't boat everything, and you definitely can't fire everything at once, or fire everything in a certain amount of time. Hold on 1 second, I go check something. Oh, sorry, that was really unprofessional on video, but my cat was... So, Now, how this affects mech to mech combat is interesting, and if I can't show you now, but when I was doing the 4v4, because this initially started with the 4v4, eventually I think they're going to expand it to include 4v4, eventually maybe 8v8, and then 12 to 12, and see how this system works. But it might have been, I don't know if it was the new system or if it was the fact that it was just 4 mechs, and maybe the amount of firing, the amount of weapons brought to the field were smaller, or maybe, you know, it could have been a number of factors. But the matches felt overall better, and but most importantly, it felt like when I was a heavy and I ran into an assault, or if I was another assault and I ran into a mech, I wasn't just blown away by a quick little alpha, you know, by all their weapons at once. And, you know, and that was it. I was already, you know, cored out. You know, yeah, then I get to respawn and fire some of my weapons back, but I'm already at a disadvantage because pretty much I'm already almost dead. You know, it didn't feel that way. It felt like I had always had a good chance to combat my opponent. I knew that there was more decision making on what weapons I had to fire and how I was managing my heat and looking out for my opponent. As a matter of fact, many times people overheated because because not only are they testing it, they simply tried to fire as fast as they can. They ignored the energy requirements, and they simply just overheated. That happened. I had an Atlas, a Dragon, an Awesome. They overheated simply because the heat that they were generating was exceeding what their mech could do. But the matches felt really good, and they felt fair. Yeah, you might still experience somebody alphaing you, but then and of course it depends on how many weapons they're building, or not they're building, or what they're carrying, or how many weapons they're using. But sometimes when they threw an alpha, you knew they were done. You knew after they hit you with everything that they were pretty much had so much heat, or they shut down. And then you knew you win. Like, okay, I'm cored, or I'm red, or something like that. But you just, bam, I got you now. You're dead. And so that's what I liked about Energy Draw. It definitely has the potential, I will say, to increase time to kill. But what it doesn't do, and if you've seen it doesn't penalize you enough for overheating. And maybe that's not just Energy Draw, maybe that's something in general. But overheating your mech should be something that you definitely do not want to do. Like, you don't want to have an alpha and say, okay, if I alpha, I'm gonna go over the energy, the heat limit. But hey, you know, all I'm gonna do is shut down for 5 seconds, and I'm gonna get right back up. Now, overheating, and of course, it would depend on how long you overheat, right? But overheating should always be something as to where you don't want to do it. It's gonna cost you something. Now, obviously, in a 1-to-1 match where you're going into another mech, you have another mech in front of you. You can't afford to overheat. Even with the current system, you shouldn't overheat. But if you're a mech that's sniping or something like that, or a mech that's far off in the distance, just poking out and firing alphas every 2 seconds and then ducking behind, and hey, I accidentally overheat, but I'm hiding behind something anyway. So it's not gonna really get penalized me. Besides, I'm gonna get 2% on my core, and that's about it. That needs to be addressed. And I don't know, Energy Draw is not gonna address that. that needs to be addressed in a different way. But yeah, right now I'm in front of an awesome D. I think that's the standard awesome D build. Now one more time, I could alpha him, right?
Level critical.
Right in his CTA, but I'll be shut down. And I would be dead. I could do that to him, and right now he would just kill me. He would rip my CT out and kill me. So, and you wouldn't want to do that under the current ghost heat system anyway. You wouldn't want to overheat, right? But if I was facing him, right, under this current heat system, and I fire my weapon at him, I wouldn't usually fire too large like that. If I'm firing just my med pulse at him, and he's
Heat
wiggling,
level critical.
I wouldn't want to just simply fire my med pulse and small pulse as much as I can, as quick as I can, because look what I'm doing.
Heat
All
level
I'm doing
critical.
is just overheating fast. All I'm doing is not only am I triggering that energy penalty, but my heat's rising faster than I need it to. I'm getting penalized for putting damage down too fast. Now, under the regular system of Ghost Heat, I wouldn't get that penalty. Sure, I would get hots, right? And even in this iteration, I get hot, and I would want to cool down. And you shouldn't be an idiot and just keep firing your weapons. You shouldn't be stupid, basically. And that's what we always. Oh yeah, I'm also part of Clan Wolf International. So we do a lot of Zell bringing time training, training for 1v1s. Even on the currency, I don't care if you're just running 2 large pulls or something like that on a medium mech. You shouldn't just willy-nilly fire your weapons and incur a lot of heat and just keep gaining heat. But the point would be for boating a certain, like, for having high damage, a potentially high damage alpha. Oh, I don't have my med. Oops, I don't have my. I didn't have my med pulses on. Even for boating 4 medium pulse in the regular server, 4 mid pulse would not grant you a penalty. You can fire that, and you wouldn't have to worry too much about heat, right? But even that should worry you, right? And I do like how it kind of gives you a heat penalty for firing 4. But if I just had 4 small pulses on this thing, the amount of heat sinks I have, I don't have to worry about heat. But if I'm in an assault and all I'm running is 4 med pulse, then I should probably be running a heavy mech or medium, because that's a waste of tonnage. If I'm an assault mech, I'm gonna want to use all my weapons on this Atlas, and I want to be able to take it down as efficiently as I can, not as fast as as fast and efficient as I can. So if I was to have these linked together, I could fire that. I would get a penalty for that. This would force you to maybe use another weapon that's probably more low heat, but not use it in conjunction with my med pulses, because I couldn't. Under this system, if I fire my med pulses and my UX,
Critical.
I would be at critical. Right now, already, I'd be at 80% heat because I'm drawing over my power. So I get a penalty for that. And if I tried firing my large pulses, I just want to go through. If I tried firing my large, I would go over and overheat. The reason why people say the new system increases time to kill is simply because now when I'm in front of another mech, when I'm shooting at him, it's not simply about firing as much as I possibly can. Like under the new system, under the current system, I could fire these med pulses and these small pulses, not get a penalty, and hit him with an Ultra 10. Not only that, wait a little bit, then fire my large lasers and maybe potentially my large pulse. No penalty, just heat. Yes, that would be hot, but I'm not going to be at risk. If you know how to avoid penalties in the current system, I'm not saying you can't avoid penalties. In this system, of course you can, but this system, oh, I'll get to that. It's not as if I couldn't avoid penalty if I had to get penalized. In an old system, I can easily avoid a penalty, right? I would simply just play like I would play in this system right now, where if I had two med pulses, two small pulses, right, I would fire my weapons in such a way where I would avoid the heat, right? That's the whole point. I wouldn't get heat spikes, I wouldn't get penalized, but I wouldn't want to incur a lot of heat. But at the same time, I'm still able to put in a high alpha, or not even an alpha, but I'd be putting in a lot of damage on this mech with just probably getting maybe 60 heat. I dissipate for like 3 seconds, mitigate some damage, and then fire again. Boom! If I'm good enough, he'd be down. Now, once again, this is a test server. I don't know how I would actually play on a live server. You know, if I would say that and this Atlas would still take me down anyway. I doubt it. But the new system is just a more general way to penalize a player for taking every weapon and firing them so fast. Like, now you're forced, and I would say it like that. A lot of people don't like, oh, I'm forced to, but no, you're forced to fire your weapons in a matter that's not super fast. You're kind of forced to fire weapons to where you get to decide to where they're, oh, I want to hit them with, do I want to hit them with my med pulse first, or do I want to hit them with my ultra double tap, or maybe when I'm at range, when I'm at 300 meters, maybe I want to hit them with this first, and then going in closer, or maybe 500 meters, and then closer in, I can cool down and then hit them with my small pulses.
Target destroyed. Heat level critical.
It's just, I like this system. This system has flaws. Yes, there's definitely flaws. Because some weapons, you don't get penalized enough, I don't think. Well, I shouldn't say it like that, but like when I was running earlier, it's running dual LRM-20s and triple, quadruple LRM-15s. Or I should say it in general. If you're boating LRMs, you could pretty much, as long as you're not being like the you can't boat LRMs like the Cyclops is now, right? Where you're boating like freaking six or 7 LRM-5s. Like, you're just not gonna be able to do that. You're not. No. But the current energy draw system, missiles and LRMs are a little bit easier to kind of work around the energy draw, at least when it comes to LRMs. So, as the current system, as I see it, it's not gonna get rid of this LRM spam. Yes, we can tell people to bring ECM, and yes, we can tell them to bring an AMS, but sometimes you just get blanketed with LRMs, and they don't necessarily have any penalties or any drawbacks to those things. I don't know what it can be, but they definitely need to address that. Now, once again, if I'm coming up on a cicada or mech, I'll fire right,
Heat level critical.
right, and then I'm hot already. All I did was fire med pulses and then large lasers, and then I already ran high. So now, cool down. But remember, there's a risk. I'm not fighting a live mech. When you're cooling down, it's gonna be important to cool down. Whether you're on this one or the next one, firing and cooling down is important. But you're just not going to be able to fire as much as you can, as fast as you can, and then dip behind the hill. You know, like a lot of people play, like they kind of go with their big mechs. They peak, they fire everything, and then you won't be able to do that.
Target destroyed.
because you're most likely going to be, well, you will be able to do that, but you probably will be shutting down very often, which is not going to be good, and you're probably going to be shutting down for an extended period of time. Plus, also to negate that, I think they, once again, they should add a bigger penalty for that, because overheating in this, I think overheating in the live server is a lot more dangerous than overheating in this server. Yeah, I overheat in this one, and I take like 3 damage, or 3%. It's like ridiculous. It's like nothing. So yeah, the one problem is I'm saying that, but at the same time, if you peek in such a way and you just put your mech in reverse and just alpha that way, like you'll take a few steps back and I guess you'll go back into cover, or maybe, or if you're in an LRM boat and you're boating LRMs, well, you wouldn't want to overheat because then you lose your lock. But if you're like at 90 something percent, you know, you fire and all of a sudden you're in high heat, there's no penalty, there's no, you're basically just, there's no danger for you, I should say. So yeah, let me try with a different build. So for what I'm saying, energy draw is definitely a good step in the right direction. It's gonna mop up a lot of problems that I see, and from what I played the 4v4, once again I should say there could be different factors, but the mech to mech combat was pretty sweet. I don't know if I said this already, but it's like when I'm running trials with my clans, we set up restrictions on certain mechs, and we said like there can only be 2 large lasers, I think, on any mech, right? Only six energy weapons, or something like that, or we have to restrict loadouts. Like you can only have, you can have dual UAC, only dual gas, or something. Those you can't run any. I don't think there's any mechs that can run triple anyway, or triple UAC, or there's only 2 UAC 10s, or something like that. I don't think those are. That's the problem here. But point is to ensure better matches and to ensure more fairness and ensure that the matches are going to be better. You have to restrict certain things, and in this case, it's only restricting how much and how fast you fire. Now I ran this Highlander. No, I ran. Now, I don't know if I want to tackle the guys necessarily. I want to get the let's catapult at the Butterbee at the 4 missiles. 4 missile. 6 missile. Maybe I should buy this. This catapult just to see how missiles. Well, no, I should go for the laser. Probably the laser vomit first. This PTS just does so many things right. So I should probably talk about some of the criticisms people, like some of the criticisms I heard about people. It's just so like I can't play it. I'm trying to be nice about it. I'm not usually nice when addressing people's what I consider. Oh, like for instance, I can't stand people who criticize energy draw, and they have not even gone into the practice server or the test server to even see how those weapons react or how those weapons play. They just simply speculation, and that's good enough for them. Oh, it's not gonna work because I don't think it is. I feel it. Like who cares? I don't care about your feelings, and I don't care what you think in your head. Unless you're testing it and getting actual data, you're not going to know. Like you're shooting it down before you even have enough data. So yeah, I'm gonna have to delete these Macs. Sorry, it's gonna take a minute. I wish you can just check which ones you want to delete or you want to get and then delete them all, but I just want to use that six hardpoint catapult because I don't actually have the catapult in my mech bay. Yeah, like I said, you know, and it's different when I say it feels great, because when I say it feels great, I mean actually it's like when you're running a car or you're driving a car, or you know, or even or something mechanic that you're actually in control of, and it's smooth and it's responsive, or heck, even a new controller that's just like, you know, and it's, or a new mouse and just responds like so freaking sweet. You know, like this feels like, that's what I'm talking about. Like the energy draw, it has potential, you know, and like when they first introduced energy draw before they tweaked it, oh man, it had problems. Like it literally like it didn't stop anything. You could boat, you can literally boat everything, and it's the values were not tweaked good enough. But after they tweaked them, man, it's true. Well, and a good thing they tweaked them according to feedback given by people, um, which was also pretty good of them. I think it's the A1 that I need to master. I think it's the A1 that. And yes, I want to master the mech because I want to see how it performs when it's mastered. And I can't wait for them to redo the skill tree. Russ said that's coming, and I think it's gonna be awesome. Let me see here. Is this the one with the 6? Oh, freak, I mastered the wrong one. Which is a C4? No. C1? Which had the 6 missile hardpoints? This one. Oh, 3 on each side. What am I thinking? Duh. Where is the... Oh, there we go. I want endo steel and double heat sinks. I can stick an XL in this thing because it doesn't matter. Oh, since I want as much room as I possibly could afford in this thing. 315 XL. What's the speed? Oh wow, 84. Always gotta have some double heat sinks. That's a must. I always shave some points off the legs just for extra tonnage. There we go. Let's see here. I don't need... So I want to boat some missile weapons because I've seen how it interacts with ballistics and lasers. It feels good with lasers and but my main problem is not is LRMs. It's boating LRMs. Oh wait, one thing I seen on the new with the new mech that came out, the Slipnir, or not the Cyclops. People boat LRM5s. I think people can boat like freaking 6, 7, 8 LRM5s. It's ridiculous. Like they definitely need to find a way to curve the LRMs. Like, cause that's been a big, like I know you got ECM and stuff like that, but sometimes, you know, if you got someone who's narking, which you should always, like, narc is important. And then I'll give my overall thoughts the whole energy draw system after I'm done testing a little bit. I mean, I'm not just saying I like it because, you know, it's like just freaking, I don't know, because I'd say I like everything. when I'm actually testing it and I actually played it with some of my clanmates, you know, their responses to it was pretty positive too. You know, I think some you know, I don't know if any of them disliked it. To be honest. Oh yeah, that's what I like now. They increased the cooldown for LRM5s. Now, I like that because, yeah, so that's my thoughts on the LRMs now. I remember now. For the LRMs, you, I can run 20s, and I wouldn't really necessarily get a penalty. But they increased the cooldown for those. I don't know. I'm liking that. I think that's pretty good. The cooldown increase on the LRMs. Um, for boating, I don't know. For stacking LRMs, actually, let me run my Spirit Bear real quick. I think the thing has, yeah, the thing has 4 NG. Oh, how much pistols? 4. Okay, so my last little run here. Spirit Bear. Let me strip it real quick. Oh, so in the little energy draw meter is right there. Total energy draw for weapons of Alpha Strike. Max energy draw. Now it says 120 for assaults here. But it's at 30. Every mech I believe is at 30. See, if I energy draw for this one's the same. It's 100. If it looks that way, right? It says 58.2 out of 120. You think when I fire everything, it's not gonna draw over what my max potential is. But every mech just says 120, and that doesn't really mean much. Just set to 30 right now. So that's what that means. Let me put an engine on this thing. One thing yeah, okay. I thought I had a problem with LRMs, but then I remembered that they increased the cooldown for those. So right now I'm running in my. Oh, I didn't even think about building an LRM Spirit Bear before. This is kind of funny. I'll put a mask in here. Wow, I never thought. Once again, I'm gonna run the total number of heat sinks, because who wouldn't? I mean, you don't have to, but it's a waste if you don't. Run the connector probe, targeting computer 7, and just more ammo, just because this is a test server. This is a test server, so I'm not really worried too much about enemies killing me. Now I'm just. Oh, look, people are in the test server. Lights. I'm gonna try to get in the match if I can. They're not running a private match. If they were, I wouldn't be in the queue. 100%. Actually, let me see if I can get into the queue real quick. Let's see if it's possible. No, I should probably work later. I don't think it's gonna let me in the queue. People are finally running in. Here I go. Anyway, let me try this real quick. I will try to get some matches where I will try to record when I'm actually in the queue, because I really want to do that. I really want to show what it's like. I'll do Hot Springs. I really want to show what it's like when you're in an active environment. Right now, I'm in a static environment. Mechs aren't firing back at me. I can only show you the amount of damage I'm able to put out to another mech. I can't show you the limiting factors other mechs have on me because I'm not on the live server. So here's right now. I have two LM15s and LM20. We fire these all. Now it's pretty much what I've seen before when I did this the first time. Yeah, I get that penalty. Yeah, I go up to 75% heat. The problem is if I'm an LRM boat, it's not gonna matter to me because I'm in the backfield. Like, I'm behind my team. I probably got a few people guarding me, and I'm not gonna have to worry about an enemy firing on me. All I'm gonna have to worry about is spotting a mech. The bonus is that they increase the cooldown.
Target acquired.
So yeah, I'm able to fire on the mech. I'm able to just shoot everything. But not only did all that damage go to his leg, but he might be able to get away from me before I can even reload. Or he might be able to get away from the spotters before he can reload. Or that ECM might come into play. Now, I don't expect a single AMS to even do much against those. But maybe 3 other mechs are running AMS. Maybe 3 other mechs are running quad or dual AMS. Who knows? But I'm not too concerned about that one now. If they increase the cooldown, I'm happy. You know. Maybe they should also increase the penalty you get for the energy consumption of your LRMs. Oh yeah, you can still run pretty hot. So LRM firing would still. Remember, these are with 15s to 20s. I've had 5s on here, man. Forget it. You know, I could fire those forever. But it's different, so. I'm gonna kill this Raven real quick. Boom. One more volley should do it.
Target destroyed.
Yeah. Got him. Anyway. I think I'm gonna. So, my conclusions for the energy draw. There are some flaws. Like, for instance, what I just mentioned with the missiles. Of course, it's got the increased cooldown. Or maybe it's not just, maybe there is no increased cooldown. Maybe it's because I'm only using on 20s or 15s. Maybe the missiles aren't punished enough under the system. Maybe they escape it entirely. Also, you could theoretically just alpha away in the PTS. And yeah, you'll go over you'll incur penalties, but there's no, there's nothing, you do that and there's no penalty towards you in terms of your mech. What happens to your mech? If you overheat, that should be something you're concerned about, especially if you fire everything, then you fire everything in the kitchen sink, but all you do is shut down, and then you're back up, and you only have like a small percentage to your health taken away, and boom, you're back into the field, or back to firing, like it didn't even matter. So the penalties should matter. They should make you think about them. You should say, hey, maybe I should alpha everything, but if I overheat, I might just lose the match anyway. So yeah, the pilot needs to be thinking that alpha striking might not be worth it. Now, I do like how it increases the time to kill. It makes you think about, as I said in the beginning, what weapon you're going to use, how you fire them, you know, and et cetera, et cetera. It's definitely, as it is now, it needs some fixing, some tweaking, but like I said, they improved it vastly from when it first came out, when the first thing came in. Like, they definitely did listen to the user feedback. They definitely did fix a few things here and there. You know, I cannot wait till this thing gets into the game. Um, Better than 3333, right? No, that was a joke. Anyway, yeah, so those are my thoughts. It's, you know, if you haven't played it yet, if you haven't even tested it yet, there's only two things I can say to you. One, don't talk about it. You don't know what you're talking about. You haven't tested it. You don't know how it works. You don't know how it interacts with mechs. You don't know how the mechs interact with each other. You don't know the impacts on the game. Then you're not qualified to talk about it. And two, well, I don't think it was a two, but get into the PTS. Try to test it out. Try to play it. If there's something limiting for you from doing that, I mean, really limit. Like, you can't. You're in Arizona and your internet's like super fucking crappy or something like that. Then, if you can, download it overnight. Get in there. Test it. Test it. Test it. Test it. Feedback. You know, go into the forums. Make some friends. Set up a PCS date. If you can't, you know, you have a whole avenue to play with other people. Don't tell me you can't play with other people in this game. Go on the forums, hop on the TS Hub, do whatever you need to do. But test it. Test it, test it, test it. You know, it's very important that things that are going to be implemented into this game are tested before they're put out, and make sure that they critique them to be adequate. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the current PTS, the current implementation of energy draw. Like it, definitely try to improve on it. And then until next time, signing out.